Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Cinema Savvy. My name is Tate. How are we all doing today? Today, I'm going to be going through our latest release of the year, as far as the cinematic year is concerned, with Disney's Wish. Oh yes, the centenary film that Disney have released to celebrate their 100th anniversary, and we get a very interesting film here. I'm going to go into my thoughts on it in a second, but of course, as per usual, we want to create a discussion on this channel. So please, if you have seen Wish, please put your comments down below what you thought on the film. Very mixed reviews so far. Some people adore it, some people really despise it. So I'd be very interested to see what everyone else thinks of it, at least. So please go and do that and comment down below, like, share as well, and everything like that. And also go and follow us on all of our socials. The Linktree link is down in the description below. So, Disney Centenary film. And I'll go into kind of what my initial thoughts were going into it to start off with, because it's the 100th year anniversary. And even before the film was released, I was a little bit concerned and confused. So it's a big anniversary for one of the biggest animated studios of all time. Possibly I mean, a lot of people would argue that they are the biggest animated studio of all time. To release their 100th year film, it's got to be a good film. It's got to be not flawless or anything like that, but you can't disappoint people with it. And one of the first things I noticed straight away before the film had even released was the fact that it wasn't on any of the festival circuits. It wasn't really showing anywhere. The advertising didn't really start until kind of just before the film's release. We were given a very brief trailer with the title song, This Wish. And apart from that, there wasn't really much until maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the film. Whereas normally for a film like this, where they're advertising their 100th year anniversary, I feel like they would have been pitching it a lot further out and getting as many people to get on board with it as possible. A lot of their kind of anniversary advertising was all about, hey, look at all of the amazing stuff we've done for the 100 years, which is fine, but not about, hey, look at this amazing kind of thing that we've done for our anniversary. Look at what we're kind of putting out as the kind of anniversary film for, all of the work we've done in the past, which was fascinating, really, really fascinating that there wasn't much advertising for this film at all. And then suddenly it was a lot of advertising very, very close to the time. Just a little interesting bit. Coming into the film, I mean, I saw the voice cast, which looked good to start off with. I've always been a big fan of, Chris Pine and in his various different projects. I absolutely adored Ariana in Spielberg's West Side Story. She's a fantastic actress who I think should be in more stuff. Alan Tudyk coming in for another voice acting role. He always, blows out of the park with whatever he does. So going into it, especially because they kind of advertised already, oh, look, we're going to have this, we're going to have a proper Disney villain for the first time in a while. I know off the back of Strange World and, Encanto, which don't really have villains. It's all kind of familial trauma passed down through the generations and stuff like that. Same with Frozen 2, I guess, as well. Not a defined villain, just kind of, the family is the villain, or, our past is the villain and we have to atone for our sins. To have an actual villain coming back in, I was really looking forward to. There was a lot of things about this film where I was like, okay, this feels like it's going to have the magic back. They're going for, the beautiful Fantasia font on the title, and, everything looked like it was really set. They've got the animal's sidekick. They've got a very simple concept about wishing upon a star. It seemed like it was all set up to be amazing. People may have already guessed I wasn't a big fan of this film. This film I want to like so much. I really, really do want to like this film so much. And there are so many elements where I'm like, that's going in a good direction, and then it pulls away, and you just this film frustrated me in so many different ways because it was close to being good on various different elements, but in the end, I don't think it landed any of them. And I know some people, some diehard Disney fans, absolutely adore this and are, going after people online for not liking this film as much. But I can completely understand both ends of the spectrum. I can understand people absolutely loving this film. I can understand people absolutely hating this film. It toes the line very, very, very tightly between those two kind of things. And I'm going to kind of go into why I wasn't the biggest fan of it, and why I'm sitting firmly in the middle on this one. To start off with, let's talk about the animation, because with animated films, animation is massive, and for Disney recently, they've gone with, ever since, Frozen and Tangled and that kind of era, they've gone with that style of animation, which I've quite enjoyed, actually. The films haven't looked bad. They've looked very pretty. I think with Tangled was the only one where I kind of commented that the head's proportions weren't right, but then they kind of fixed it with Frozen onwards and everything like that. And I wasn't a big fan of Encanto as well. I just wasn't a fan of the songs. I wasn't a fan of the fact there wasn't a mainstay villain. I guess this is one of those musical Disney kind of classics that you would talk about, so you can't really talk about it in the same kind of sentence as Strange World, because that's a very, very different film. Whereas this one is a kind of a musical, so you're expecting the big songs, you're expecting everything like that. But from the animation itself, they went with a different route here. They went with a weird kind of blended animation, which I guess has worked in the past as well. And I wasn't a big fan because I feel like there was frame rate issues at some points during the film, which was really interesting. Some of the shots and individual screenshots of this film would look stunning. I have a rotation of film screenshots and stuff like that, like film pictures and stuff like that on my computer background. Like, it runs through all the time. And I would have individual shots of this film on there. However, when it's animated together, it just doesn't fit. You've got some parts which are 3D, like, the main character Asher and everything like that. And then the backgrounds seem a bit more 2D, but there's kind of that almost like Paper Mario element to it, I'd almost feel, where it kind of sometimes blends and sometimes it's looking to stick out. And just different animations of characters running or anything with motion looks not the best, but anything static and still looks okay. And I just don't think they got the balance right. It might be one of those things where, like I said, with Tangled, they went and tried this new thing and they kind of got it right, but some parts didn't quite work, and maybe it'll be fixed in the next film. But for this film, at least, I don't think it worked. And that's just a me thing. There were some points where my eyes went a little bit funny because I was trying to focus on various different things in the shot. And as pretty as it looked, it seemed like the animation didn't quite match up or feel right. I do wonder, and it's worth checking. I don't have the information here myself, and I'm guessing it'll be revealed in time. Were they rushed to get this out for the anniversary? It was released November 17th, 2023. And that's very, very close to the end of their kind of, 100th year anniversary. If they wanted to get things out on time, that would have been very interesting if they would have been really pushed and if it had to be delayed to next year, especially with, other things going on and stuff like that. It would have been very, very interesting to see if that is a cause in production. They don't really have much development notes at the moment to say that there was any kind of, delays or anything like that. But very, very interesting indeed. Let's talk about kind of the plot and the cast and everything like that. So the plot of Wish, let me pull up IMDb. Wish will follow a young girl named Asher, who wishes on a star and gets a more direct answer than she bargained for when a troublemaking star comes down from the sky to join her. So very, very simple concept, and I like that. And that, I think, is one of the strongest parts of this film. This film doesn't go out there and try and be incredibly complicated and incredibly deep as far as its kind of motivations are concerned or anything like that. It's not like Encanto, where it is like deep familial trauma, like forgetting members of the family and, all of that kind of, hurt and pain and everything like that. Very, very complicated things for, children to understand. Trying to be way too complex and almost a little bit confusing for some people. This is very, very simple. This is, young woman wants to make a wish, wishes upon a star because she can't wish upon, the main villain. What he does is he, collects people's wishes and stuff like that. And she gets a star wish, but it's kind of not exactly what she expected. And it's one of those kind of be careful what you wish for, but also, follow your dreams kind of, films and stuff like that. And I do like that. I've seen some people comment online regarding the plot, that the film is very, very easy to understand, almost too easy to understand. Like, it is, I mean, I want to go ahead and say this now. It's a children's film. It's made for the kids. And I completely understand the whole kind of thing of people wanting there to be deeper messages and everything like that. But these messages are very easy to understand, and this film is very watchable in that sense. It's not complex. It's a very simple kind of popcorn movie. Just sit back and watch it kind of thing. And you don't need to comprehend too much to understand it. And I've seen people complain, like, because maybe we've been spoiled with the various different films that have come out in the past, which have been a little bit more complex from Disney and other animated studios exploring further things. This film feels like a children's film more than it feels like a family film. And I will say that. And to be honest, I see no problem with that. It's exactly what the target audience was, from the very start of Disney animation. So I don't understand why people are complaining too much about that. Different Disney films people will enjoy and people will not enjoy in various different circumstances, at different age groups and different things. Some are universal and loved for all ages. Some are more for a younger audience, and that's okay. That's absolutely fine. And I think this film's going to be a massive hit with younger audiences, especially because the lead character is so, bubbly and, energetic and everything like that. And the performance from Ariana DeBose is fantastic in the voicing role. In fact, the voice acting here is not something that you can, criticize at all. They've all performed incredibly good jobs here. As far as, the voice acting is concerned, all the characters put on, very good roles, and they play into the plot very, very well. As far as the characters are concerned, Asher, like I said, very, very bubbly. King Magnifico. It's nice to have a good traditional Disney villain back. It really is. It's been a while. It's been a while. Not a twist villain or anything like that. It's good to just have a plain old, I'm kind of evil from the start. I'm just going to get more evil as it goes along. And his quest is a very simple quest as well. He's in power. He wants to maintain the power and possibly become more powerful to protect himself. And throughout the entire film, we learn of his kind of more selfish motivations and everything like that. And we can understand how he lost his way and everything like that. It's a very basic character, once again. And this film, plays it to that with every single sense. I mean, we get side characters, which are all kind of based off the Seven Dwarfs, which is a nice callback, even though they're not very well developed throughout the entire film. We also get Valentino, the talking goat, which is voiced by Alan Tudyk, who does make a few jokes, which I'm sure kids will laugh at and stuff like that. I wasn't the biggest fan, It's very, very safe, this film. This film is incredibly safe. And some people can say, oh, they should have taken risks. And other people will go, well, do you know what? It's the most Disney film you could possibly ask for. So it's one of those where it could go either way with that one. And, that's, my thoughts on it at least. Now, it's a Disney musical film. So let's talk about, my biggest irk with this film, the music. Okay, so Andrea DeBose, fantastic voice, brilliant. And the title song is very catchy. But I have an issue with the writing of this music. The writing of the songs in this film are not up to the standards that Disney have set recently. I don't think a single song from this film will become a classic Disney song that will become memorable at all. People may say, oh, Wish, because it's the title song and everything like that. But I honestly think it's going to be forgotten about in a few years' time. I genuinely do. The songs weren't written by kind of, musical theatre writers. The music was written by Julia Michaels, and she's worked with pop stars and, people like Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, and that kind of demographic. And all of the songs came off incredibly poppy. They tried to emulate the Lin-Manuel Miranda stuff that he's brought into, recent films in recent years, especially the Disney ones, but it didn't quite work. And I think, I'm looking through the song list right now on my screen. I could talk through the songs as well. Welcome to Roses had a very strong start and feels like kind of the Family Magical, introduction from Encanto, but it doesn't quite land it because it feels like it's way too kind of complex. And there are a couple of half rhymes in there that just do not work, and this is a thing that I'm going to be going back to as well. At All Costs was a very interesting, weird power ballad duet type thing, which was interesting, I guess. I don't really rate Chris Pine's voice from the singing because you can hear how auto-tuned and how altered it's been and stuff like that. So that didn't really sit well with me. Wish is fine, but once again, they try and cram too many words into the actual, end of the chorus and stuff like that. And the song would be fine if they were able to figure out that kind of keeping the words out kind of thing. It's too, tongue twistery and stuff like that towards the end of the chorus. I just don't like it. And this is something that I noticed from the trailer as well. Like, as soon as I heard it in the trailer, I was like, wow, they're trying to cram way too many words into the end of that sentence. I'm a Star, I really dislike. The singing animals, just everything. I was not a fan of that at all. I feel like a lot of people have been stomping on that song in particular. I can understand that. This Is the Thanks I Get is an okay song, but Chris Pine singing just doesn't, match up to it. Just kind of, standard villain kind of motivation song. It's not as good as any of the other previous, villain motivation songs in recent times, but at the same time, what can you say, really? And then apart from that, it's just kind of, Wish Again reprised. Or Knowing What I Know Now is probably the best song in the entire film. It actually kind of felt like a musical theatre number, not like the rest of the songs, which did feel kind of very pop influenced. And I guess they're trying to keep people on board with that and trying to keep people entertained with that. But at the same time, Disney's roots have been rooted in musical theatre numbers and musical theatre kind of themes and stuff like that, which is why they've brought in musical theatre writers and stuff like that previously. Not for this film, we're going to bring in pop writers, which I just personally don't think it worked. Anyway, the score itself is quite nice in the background, and Rosas, as far as a city is concerned, has a reasonable amount of character to it. I love the design of it, and I think the design in the film is really, really good. But the animation doesn't quite settle for me, and the music doesn't quite settle for me, and that's big for a film that is an animated musical film, for those two things to not quite settle with someone. I guess as my closing thoughts, I mean, I know George doesn't really do star ratings and stuff like that. I always do on my Letterboxd, on my personal one, and I gave this a 3.5 stars because, like I said, I really wanted this film to work. I really wanted this film to work, and there are some things in there, and there are parts of this film where I was really entertained and really getting behind it and getting goosebumps from certain scenes and stuff like that. But I just couldn't fully get behind it. The finale was interesting but weird, having the entire city rise up against him, King Magnifico, after he reads the evil book. Even his wife turning on him and stuff like that. That was nice to see, people actually realizing, actually, do you know what, he is evil, let's actually fight back against him, kind of peasant uprising style. But the conclusions were odd in the film, having him trapped in the mirror and stuff like that. I guess that's a callback to Mirror Mirror on the Wall, or Magic Mirror on the Wall is the actual kind of phrase. And then everyone kind of gets what they want in the end. She gets her wishing wand and basically becomes a fairy godmother to the kingdom. It's nice callbacks to previous Disney things. It is a little in your face, and there are various different points in the film where it is in your face, but you forgive them for it. It's their 100th year anniversary. Like, of course, they're going to have callbacks to things previous. We've been talking Doctor Who this week, and a lot of the things they've been putting through have been callbacks, and I've loved them. And I know that I'm a massive fan of Doctor Who, so therefore I love it. I am a Disney fan in the sense of I like the Disney animated classic films, but I'm not like a mega fan, so I can understand mega fans going, oh my god, this is fantastic, this is amazing, and I can understand those opinions of the film. Personally, for me, some of them hit, some of them missed, and that's just kind of how it's gone with it. I am excited to see what Disney does next. They've been not hit and miss over the last kind of 10 or so years because they've put out some absolute mega hits. But I feel like they've never quite reached the heights that they have done previously with, their 90s run. They started with the likes of, Frozen, Moana, Tangled, all massive critical successes. But in recent years, they've had miss, and a few kind of occasions. Raya and the Last Dragon, completely forgot that film existed until we did our, what's it called, top 10 Disney films, where everyone voted for that, which you should go and watch on our channel. But yeah, with Strange World, which wasn't a massive hit with people, and this film, which is kind of dividing opinions as well, they need another film to settle them back in. Encanto was a big hit online, but I personally didn't like it, and I know a lot of people also weren't biggest fans of it. So it'd be very, very interesting to see, you know, where they go in the future, what their next projects are and everything like that, and what their next kind of big musical will be and who will be writing it is what I'm very interested in, at least. But of course, I want to hear your comments on Wish below. Like I said, some people liked it, some people didn't like it. So we need to get a nice balance in there and stuff like that, and see what the kind of the Cinema Savvy viewers end up kind of agreeing on and disagreeing on and everything like that. We love to create discussion on here, so please go and put those comments down below, and we will answer them as quickly as we can. Please also go and follow us on Redbubble. Well, go and buy merch from Redbubble. Go and follow us on Linktree, getting them mixed up the wrong way round. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Letterboxd, Instagram. You know, all of our links are going to be on that Linktree. That will take you to all of them in general. Anyway, only other announcement I guess we can make is that we've got Doctor Who reviews coming up with all of the specials at 9 p.m. on Saturday, 9 p.m. British time. So you can tune in for those. The last one we did with myself and George was really, really fun. We've got our Untitled monthly movie show should be coming out tomorrow as of recording this. So please keep an eye out for that. That will be on the socials as well. And we'll be uploading that and having a chat through all the different films we've seen this month. A lot of Disney films in there. So that'll be an interesting discussion in itself. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you on the next one.